In this video, I want to talk about being able to transition from multifamily and operating multifamily apartments and anything to do with multifamily into the healthcare niche of assisted living, behavioral health, transitional housing. And so if you're interested in this healthcare niche space and you are currently either in the short-term rental or in the multifamily space, make sure to stick around. I hope that this video benefits you. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the video. What's going on, everyone? I hope you're all doing well. If you're new here, my name is Serge. Welcome to the channel. To all my reoccurring viewers, thank you so much for all the love and support that each and every single one of you have shown me. And if you have not yet, make sure to go check out the God Made podcast on most streaming platforms. Also, feel free to go check out legionassistedlivingacademy.com, where I teach how to start your own facility from A to Z. Also, if you are looking to book a one-on-one mentorship call, you can also do that either in the link of the description of this video or at legionassistedlivingacademy.com, along with if you are wanting to book a one-on-one in-person full day with myself, you can also do that there. And if you have not yet, make sure to go check out Valley ALF Ventures on Instagram and valleyalfventures.com if you are a limited partner or an investor looking to passively invest in this niche, or if you're an operator looking to expand or sell your facility, we would love to hear from you. And so with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the topic of this video. Now, multifamily and short-term rentals have been a great asset class and continue to be a great asset class, but things have definitely gotten a lot harder to be able to access these assets and actually purchase them, simply because of the capitalization rates that are currently in the market. They're so suppressed that it's hard to make these type of assets actually pencil from an operation standpoint and even from an investor standpoint. And so a lot of people have actually been reaching out to myself and other people in this industry that I am in talks with and continue to talk on a pretty monthly basis. And what we've noticed is the fact that there's a lot of people coming from these different asset classes wanting to learn more about this specific healthcare niche and how they can get involved in it. And again, the reason being is because of all the things I just mentioned. And so how do you transition from multifamily and short-term rentals and how those are operated versus coming into the healthcare niche and how these things operate here from an operational standpoint and even from an asset class standpoint. And so that is what I'm going to discuss for all those individuals and even anybody looking to get into this niche. So with healthcare niches, we really base off things based off of the type of beds that are in these facilities. And so a lot of multifamily people like to say, how much can they make per door? What is it selling per door? Other assets are sold per square foot, such as industrial and retail spaces. So when you're looking at this specific niche of assets being in the healthcare space, you have to look at things per bed. So when you go to assess an asset like this and you look at it, it's like, okay, what are the costs per bed? So when you look at the licensing aspect of it, being able to determine how many beds that facility is potentially licensed for and has, that's how you're going to determine ultimately what the cost per bed is. And so think of it as units or per door or per square foot. And so typically in this space, especially with the residential, you can also do it for commercial, but with residential, you look at it and on average, most of these facilities are selling between $85,000 per bed to up to about $150,000 to $200,000 per bed. So that's typically what you're looking at the average when you are looking and assessing these facilities. And then you got to factor in, just like anything else, is the occupancy rates and the vacancy rates, right? And so you could also look at, short-term rentals as like how many days per month are those that Airbnb or that short-term rental renting out for. Same with multifamily, on average, what does that look like per year or per month if it's on a monthly basis? And in this space, a lot of residents are there on a monthly basis. So you're going to look at it from month to month. And oftentimes you'll look at the trailing 3 when it comes to their P&Ls, and then also their trailing 12 just to see the historicals and how that's been doing. So from an occupancy and vacancy rate, you can really tell which ones are doing well, which ones are not. And typically on average, most facilities are 85% to 90% occupied any given month. And then anything below that, they're probably not running it as efficiently, which allows you to actually come in and do some type of value add. Another thing to look at, just like anything else, is market rent. In this space, it would be considered the rates that the residents are paying, so resident rates. And those are on a month-to-month basis. And oftentimes, depending on the type of residency agreement that was signed and agreed with the facility and the family member, you have to look at this just like you would with the leases in multifamily. You would need to look at the residency agreements to see what type of addendums were added into it. Even though they are month to month, there are sometimes addendums that are added to the residency agreements from the management of that facility where the residents rate will not increase for the lifetime that the resident is there. And that does happen a lot often than you would think, just to secure that occupancy, right? Just to secure that resident in that facility, knowing that for the life of that resident, they'll be paying $4,500 per month. Now, in this specific niche, if you wanted to and you came in and you saw that there were a lot more residency agreements that had this addendum implemented, what you could do is vacate those residents by giving them a 30-day notice. In this specific niche, in this specific space, you are able to actually give residents proper notice. Typically it's 30 days, like I mentioned, to vacate. And so oftentimes you have to work with the families to do that, but they do end up being moved elsewhere. And you can always assist with finding them another bed in another location or another facility if need be. So that is something to keep in mind when you're looking at this space as well. Another thing to keep in mind is also the zoning and making sure that they have the conditional use permit, also known as the certificate of occupancy. They're called different things depending on what state you're in, but that will let you know how many beds that facility can have. Oftentimes, a really great value add play in this specific space is by coming in and increasing that certificate of occupancy or that conditional use permit, either by adding additional bedrooms and maybe adding a sprinkler system, or maybe utilizing the current footprint and maximizing the space by increasing that. And so that's a really great way to increase the NOI in this specific space and with these types of facilities. So oftentimes people ask, what are the value add plays within this niche? Multifamily, it's by changing out flooring, updating the kitchens, maybe adding a washer dryer. With short-term rentals, it's by upgrading the amenities there. Same with multifamily. With this space, it's more so based off of how can you make it more accessible for residents, make it more. So typically that's adding those ADA bathrooms and making sure that there's roll-in showers, making sure there's a 5-foot turn radius within these bathrooms. Also changing out the flooring throughout. Typically if there's carpet in the rooms and they're all stained and they don't look great and it smells, being able to do that, widening doorways as well. That's how you can increase the value of these properties, by doing that and outfitting it properly to increase that NOI, which at the end of the day will be reflected in the cap rate that you could ultimately sell it at. So these are just a couple things if you're looking to transition from multifamily, short-term rentals, anything of that sort, maybe even self-storage, other asset classes into this assisted living healthcare niche. Those are things to consider. With the different licenses that are out there, there's going to be different type of value add plays depending on what type of license you're actually going to be implementing into that said location, which is another great thing about this space. There's so many different avenues you can go down when it comes to the licensing. So again, you can book a one-on-one mentorship call with myself in the link of the description of this video, or if you want to book a in-person full day with myself, you can also do that. Let me know, shoot me an email. Make sure to go check out valleyalfventures.com and go check us out on Instagram there. Check out Legion Assisted Living Academy as well. And with all that, I hope that this video provided you guys a ton of value. And if it did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, share it. And with that being being said, I will talk to you all in the next one.